Saturdays, or Elite, whatever we want to call it. We changed it up during the intro there. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Good Morning Elite.
Good morning, Saturday.
Good morning, Saturday.
Yeah, good morning, Saturday.
Good morning, Saturdays, right here in Elite POV. My name is Kyle Masters. I'm producer Kyle, here the host of Good Morning Elite on this beautiful Saturday. And we have a cool, actually really awesome episode for you guys today. But first, I'm going to introduce everyone that you can see on the panel. And if you're listening back, thank you for downloading the episode and listening to Good Morning Elite. We're going to start off, obviously, with someone you know very well and with some new glasses on camera here. Ant DeStefano.
The migraines were real. The migraines were so real that I had to buy these things.
Gaming glasses?
Yeah, they're blue light glasses.
Yeah.
And they've worked fucking wonders. They've worked wonders. Like, I've been getting migraines for a month now because screens at work, screens on phone, screens on TV, like your day's filled with them. I put these on yesterday. I think we were on for 11 hours and I didn't get one headache. So I recommend.
Highly recommend. All right, love it. And then now you've heard that voice just then. If you're listening to audio, I'm going to introduce him now. He is now a new member of Elite POV, someone that Ant is very familiar with, who started out podcasting with. That is
Carnage.
You know what? I'm gonna actually let him introduce himself.
That was 7 years ago. So sorry, guys. That was 7 years ago.
So you know what? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Costin. I'll go by my real name for this concept because
he's
usually
shooting
when
name.
it comes to I'm shooting name.
We're gonna
go with a shooting name.
You're Cade, then you're Hero, then you're Costin. You working or shooting? You trying to pop the boys? You pop the boys.
But yeah, so I did a lot of wrestling stuff back in my day. I actually did have the Crossers of Costin. It was a great podcast. I enjoyed talking about wrestling. Unfortunately, with all content creation and everything with the brand and everything, it's very hard to keep up with that. So decided to join a wonderful team, the Elite POV team, and I'm proud to be here. I'm very happy to be with you guys and talking stuff and doing stuff and looking at stuff.
Yeah,
and popping the boys. There's one reason we're here, and it is to pop the boys.
Yeah, we're shirt coming soon, by the way, for people wondering, and because that's getting over in our chats. Pop the Boys merchandise is coming soon to Elite POV merch, so stay tuned. And then last but certainly not least, from our Patreon,
best in the world
tier, Nate the Great. What's going on, Nate?
What's up, guys? Glad to be on here. Glad to be reunited once again, and it feels so good.
Yeah,
with Ants. Because we've done so much stuff together. It's absolutely crazy, but glad to be a part of this. Glad to be talking about some AEW because, the other company doesn't know what to do. I mean, there's too much butch in the world.
Let's fucking bury them. First off, prayers out to Big E, though. All joking aside, prayers out to Big E.
Yeah.
One of the fucking great people in wrestling. Sending positive vibes, prayers to Big E Langston, because I'm going to use his full name, right? That's what Big E Langston.
We're going to shoot. You're not using his full name. What's going on?
Shoot.
It's funny. This is full circle for me because when I started podcasting, I was a part of the Wrestle Addict, right?
Yeah.
And then Heel came on the Wrestle Addict. Costin came on the Wrestle Addict as Cade Carnage. Then G-Rod and I evolve and we make Wrestle Addict Radio War. And then Nate the fucking Great is on Wrestle Addict Radio. So it is full circle of my podcasting career. And then there's Kyle.
And there's Kyle. Then there's me. I was a Mark fan for
millions of dollars to tell and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. I was a Mark for Rant with Ant, and then he's like, yo, you podcast? And I was like, yeah. Here's my link.
I stole his table at New York because, this one time we were at McMahon's, not owned by my father-in-law. We were in New York. And there was no room because I had such a draw. I had people all over. There was heads all over the place. And I looked at him and I said, you're going to give me that table or I'm going to break your arm. And he gave me the table and it popped the boys.
And it didn't break my arm. My arm is good. But yeah.
See what happens when Jackie's not here, guys? You see what fucking happens.
Nothing can stop you now.
Yeah, and then there's just me. So I just came in. I just got here. I have no history. he stole my table once at a bar.
I just came from the alleyway and be like, hi. Remember Mark from Chicago? That's Kyle from Chicago.
Yeah. I looked at him square in the face. I said, you can bet your ass I'm taking this table.
Wait, he was so hammered he tried looking me in the face, but he's looking at the wall next to me.
Thought it looked like an arm.
That was actually the glare off his head. It was blinding. I put these glasses on because I knew I had two bald guys on today.
Anyways, guys, today is going to be a little bit of a interesting episode, obviously, because Jackie's not here to calm everybody down, but and be Mama POV. But anyways, we're going to touch base on Rampage. We're not gonna be really dissecting the show. We're actually gonna just kind of talk about Rampage in general. And
we're gonna talk shit about Rampage.
Yeah, I also got some AEW news to go over. So I think that's where we'll start. We'll start with the Rampage. We'll end with the news. So I know I'm gonna let Ant take the lead here because he does have some, I'm gonna say, constructive criticism.
Yeah, it's constructive. I love AEW.
Rampage.
Right?
We won't be doing this. Let you take the reins here with this one.
We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for All Elite Wrestling, right? AEW literally ignited a passion in, the lapsed fan. Heel Costin being one of the main ones, right? He was out of wrestling for years. He was training to be a pro wrestler, fell to love of pro wrestling because how bad the other product was. AEW brought him back. AEW reignite the passion in Kyle. Nate, has watched everything except WWE pretty much. He still watches it, but like everything else outside of WWE ignited his passion, and it brought me back. But this is my creative criticism is, and I love that there's two shows, but Rampage doesn't feel like a must watch. Rampage doesn't feel like I should watch sometimes. Last night, the only thing I wanted to see was Swerve Strickland. Back when Rampage started, they put CM Punk's come back to pro wrestling on Rampage, and it felt huge. And then they did Danielson and Kingston on Rampage, and it felt huge, right? And then somewhere along the line, the past couple months, Rampage has not been must-see TV. Wednesday is must-see TV, but Friday night, especially at 10 o'clock, you need to make me want to watch.
Yeah.
You need something that I'm like, I cannot miss that. And right now, they don't have anything in the past couple months for me that's like, I got to see this. I want to know what the panel thinks. I want to know what you guys think, because I don't know if it's just me, but is it the 10 o'clock time slot? I don't know. Last night we were all hanging out and we were doing WWE 2K, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I watched it this morning because there was nothing that was like, I have to go see this. I have to drop what I'm doing and watch. And every Wednesday, I drop everything I'm doing to watch.
Yeah.
So what is the disconnect with the Friday show?
Like, for me, I find for the biggest drawback for me, specifically for Rampage, is the 10 o'clock timeline for me. It's just like, to uphold a proper mental state for myself and mental health and everything, I do log off my PCs at a certain timeline during the day because I'm primarily every single day in front of a screen doing something. And I find the 10 o'clock aspect for me is just a little bit too late because that's kind of when I log off and I'm not really wanting to watch a lot of stuff, specifically on the PC aspect. But just in general, the show in itself, I haven't really been, I must watch. Like, yeah, it's true. The CM Punk promo when he came back, 100%, I needed to see that. The Daniel Bryan aspect, 100%, I need to see that. But there's a lot of stuff in the last month or so that's just been, I don't necessarily need to see that. Like Tony Nese and Swerve apparently it was a phenomenal match. I saw highlights of that.
Super fun.
Highlights of that. And for me, like I didn't actually know Swerve in WWE at the time because I haven't watched WWE programming in a very long time. So I didn't really know a lot of his style. Him and Tony Nese, they flow beautifully. I loved it. It looked good. It was smooth. It was good from beginning to end. But in relation to that, there's nothing else that I was like, I don't need to see anything else. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessary. Like, I didn't mind it when it was on that 1 week when it was at 7 p.m. So I'm like, I can catch it. I can actually see what it is because I have time to be able to watch it and enjoy, and I'll enjoy with other people and the other. But 10 o'clock for me is just a bad time for that, I find.
It is. I think I always said Saturday at 8 is like prime time for me.
Yeah, exactly.
8 o'clock would be the best thing. And next week with the NCAA tournament, which obviously, if you're talking about ratings, the ratings for NCAA tournament are insane. It's the biggest gambling holiday of the year is the March Madness tournament. Next week it's at a fucking 11:30 at night. Good luck. You're gonna draw maybe 100,000.
That wasn't due to the NCAA. That was due to because they're gonna be on the West Coast. And
no, it said after the NCAA tournament last night on Rampage. So it was because of, I believe it was because of that. Because they said it's the NCAA tournament.
I thought they were on the West Coast next week, and usually that means like East. Like I know with like hockey games usually start at 7 p.m. But if it's like a West Coast game, it starts at 10 because there's that 3-hour time difference. Because
I don't watch sports, so
yeah. The time thing is I'm telling you it's because the NCAA tournament. And
so Nate, though, what do you think about Rampage in general?
You know, for some reason, it kind of feels like Rampage and Dark are on the same level. Because if you remember back in the old days of sports entertainment, brother. They had Velocity and Heat. That's kind of what it feels like right now. And every now and then there's like, oh, I kind of want to watch this episode of Heat or watch this episode of Velocity because you see that. I feel like it's the same way with Rampage. Like you said, CM Punk deal, that was something I watched. Other than that, maybe the Christian Cage, Kenny Omega match that they did in the first episode of Rampage, that was something to watch. But like you said, not really much to watch. I mean, you mentioned the Strickland matchup. I also watched it just this morning to see the Keith Lee match because it's Keith G.D. Lee, damn it. So, I mean, other than that, it definitely does feel like it's one of those things where it just more gives people like, oh, we kind of run out of time to put matches for Dynamite. Let's put them on Rampage, where it's like not exactly must see, but it's like, hey, you still want to see these guys? Put them on.
And here's the problem: being there live, right? I was there once. I'm gonna be Phil for a second. Hey, I was there once, and when you're there live, it's exhausting, right? It's exhausting. You're there from 7 for Dark, 8 to 10 is Rampage, 11, 10 to 11 or I'm sorry, 8 to 10 is Dynamite, 10 to 11 is Rampage, right?
Jesus.
10 to 11, you're exhausted, and they put on that card. I leave. Like, the one time they gave me Punk versus Daniel Garcia, which was great. It was the first match. Then they gave me Jade versus Sky Blue. And then the last match was like Brian Cage in a street fight. And I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving. I don't need to see Brian Cage in a street fight. Like, but even that card, Punk versus Daniel Garcia, that's something you want to see. This is what they have to do to keep the fans invested. There's two things. You either got to make Rampage have really good matches that have your biggest star so people stick around because the crowd dies, or you need to make it live. That is the two ways to fix Rampage, is to put your main eventers on the card, make it feel huge. Because Nate, you're right. It does feel like a Sunday Night Heat, right? It does feel like you're getting good wrestling, but what's drawing you? And I want to talk about Swerve a little bit. I know Heel doesn't know much about him. Swerve Strickland was an enigma on the indie scene. Him and Riddle had some great matches, right? And then he was in NXT, and he was the man there. How? And this isn't me shitting on this company, right? But how does NXT, how does WWE let someone like Swerve Strickland, who just oozes confidence, charisma, swag, his entrance is just like, I'm like, I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. Like, I want that kind of confidence. That man's amazing. How does someone like that get let go from WWE? Kyle, you're the host. You can answer first.
I was actually going to answer the last question because I didn't get to answer that question.
And it's like, oh, there's Kyle. And then there's Kyle.
And welcome to Wrestle Addict. Kyle, you're out.
I'm producer. I can just move you off the screen.
And then everybody will leave because I'm just here to pop the boys.
Anyways, in general, yes, Rampage does need to be live if you're going to feature those stars. Because if it's not live, you can't feature those stars. You're overworking them because they're appearing on Dynamite literally like an hour before Rampage starts, and you don't really want to overwork people because then you're just technically that's taking time away from other people. That's the reason why they have Rampage as the extra hour of Dynamite, so they can feature more talent that's not appeared on Dynamite.
You brought that up for the Hardys, right? Like, you're like, they came out an hour before. Why
that was Phil that pointed that out in the chat.
Yeah. Like, it's true. It's like they just debuted an hour ago, and now they're like trotting them back out there, and it's like, oh, the pop's less. Well, yeah, because they
literally
just
it's the same crowd that just seen them like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna pop again that same pop. Oh, you rechange them into the fishnets. They're still not gonna pop for that. Anyways. It does need to be live. The time slot is really hard, especially because the audience as well, not even just the United States and Canadian audience, it's the European audience who are really big in AEW. Like the UK audience is really big.
Shout out to Carrie,
who if they want to watch Rampage live, that's 3 a.m. for them. That's not a thing for them. They have to wait till the next day to watch a replay and avoid going on social media. Like they shouldn't have to be forced to do that. So I think they do need to pick a better time slot because 10 p.m. on a Friday night is really, really tough to do.
It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
So even if you wanted to do like, it's fine. Go up against NXT. You could do like a Tuesday night Rampage. Maybe it's the hour before Dynamite. You know what I mean? They can advertise as that.
I would love a week show, like a weekday show. That'd be
Well,
great.
even for me, like for the live, like you mentioned before, the live audience are exhausted. They've seen Dynamite, they've seen Dark, they've seen a lot of great. Like Dynamite itself is just an exhausting show in
It's
general.
a sprint. It's like you start and you just run the whole time. You know what I mean?
It's specifically how sometimes they also book it where they have like the top match to start the show. So
Sorry, I had like a great idea just popped in my head. Go ahead, finish.
So like my whole concept specifically for if you're gonna have Dark Rampage, or sorry, Dark Dynamite and then Rampage, why don't you move Rampage before Dynamite then? At least, obviously, when it comes to storytelling, it'll be a little funky. They'd have to adapt to that, but just have it to a point where you have your YouTube show, your less show, and then your main show as the ending, because those people are also going to get that energy back. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have to adapt, obviously, the storytelling, but I find that way the audience will still be inclined to be there and excited, because now you're saving the best for last.
Exactly. So the idea popped in my head, and the light bulb went turned on. Seeing the light bulb pop up.
Yeah, and look, you can see Kylie's like, we're gonna shoot. What happened?
There's going to be arguments to people saying like, oh, if they just did Rampage 1 live, are people going to pay for tickets to go and just watch 1 hour of wrestling in a stadium? Here's what they do. What did Ring of Honor just been purchased? Why don't you combine an hour of Ring of Honor and an hour of Rampage in the same night?
Sure.
And one could be live, one can be not live, or you can do both live. Maybe that's like an advertised television. Like it's 2 hours of AEW wrestling. The first hour is Ring of Honor, and the second hour is Rampage.
Or do a takeover, make ROH Rampage.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see that.
They need two shows. They need two major shows. They need two major. Like Nate fucking nailed it. It feels like Sunday Night Heat. It feels, but even Sunday Night Heat sometimes would have matches with The Rock. Like we need that kind of like. We need Punk. We need Danielson. We need Moxley. We need these guys. Like I love Keith Lee, but I've seen Keith Lee wrestle, and he was wrestling QT Marshall. It was like, do I love that Hobbs came out? And they like, if you gave me Keith Lee versus Hobbs, I'm watching fucking Friday night at 10 o'clock, right? Yeah. But you didn't. You gave me QT Marshall, and I'm the only QT Marshall fan in the world. But at the same time, it's like, that's not going to draw me in. That's not drawing me in. Like the House of Black's promo, that was amazing. Advertise that we're going to hear from the House of Black. Advertise it. So now I'm like, I got to see what they say.
Yeah.
They don't do it. And the entrance, there's no entrances anymore except the main event. It's just strange. It just feels very.
That's because they're running into an issue where now they're packing more matches onto Rampage because of the talent roster.
If they went go to Thursday. Yeah. Go to Thursday from 8 to 10.
Yeah, we'll move our podcast. We're fine. Just put it on Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday. Do it. I'm fucking down. Let's go.
Like at this point in time, they do need with all of the talents, because they are getting oversaturated with talents as well, and you got to showcase them, and you got to make storylines for them, and you got to obviously the audience need to actually build relations with those talents as well. Even though some other indie related, but AEW also has their OGs that are also building and telling a story as well. And I find that if you are going to do the whole concept of the two shows, like have two shows, have two main shows. And I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, but it's a WWE. It doesn't matter if it's a WWE style, regardless. This company is showcasing talents in a very good way. They're able to tell long-lasting, emotional, connected storylines in a very good way. If we can have two shows in which we can see this storyline adapt over two periods or two different shows or multiple storylines, then those pay-per-views are going to be crazy, because now we have two main shows that are giving us two crazy storylines from multiple people and so on and so on and so on. Like, it's just great building. Again, it's not following a WWE format, because you don't need to split
the rosters. You can have one roster.
No, of course. Yeah, sometimes shit works, right? Like the NFL, right? The NFL took rules from the XFL, right? Because some of the rules and some of the cameras and some of the shit made sense. Sometimes it takes someone showing, a logical thing to make you change on a logistical level. And I think that's what you're seeing with that's what you need to see, I should say, with AEW. Take the concept. If Rampage is going to be like your NXT, right? And it's going to be like the guys that aren't on the card a lot, hype it the fuck up. Like, hype it up. I don't feel like it's hyped enough. Tony Khan will tweet 30 minutes before, great show, Rampage. I didn't say that about that person. Tune in. It's like, okay, but that's not getting me hyped up. Like, I don't know. There's no way to fix Rampage right now.
It's a good
You know,
time right
here-
now to reformat. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's something that they could also do. Instead of like cramming all this into like one single deal, have Dark kind of be like the live event shows. Have that be kind of dubbed as like your live event deals, where you could have it experiment into different cities, and you can also bring local talent from there. Great example: a guy who actually wrestles here, Adam Grace, was actually on an episode of Dark not too long ago. Have that be what you do. Have it be like, okay, is there like an independent guy that's in the state that we could utilize that has gotten a lot of hype behind him? Have them have like a tryout match where people can be like, okay, now not only are they getting that, AEW flair, but they're also getting some hometown flair as well. I think that would be something that could be different, something that could really stand them above the rest from other companies, and it would give people something that, and plus they would throw in like a 15-minute intermission there, which some people actually would probably not have a problem with that.
Picture in picture.
Actually, Carrie brings up a really good point in chat as well.
Shout out to Carrie.
Yeah, shout out to Carrie, the head booker. She puts, we also need to remember that it's easy for us to sit here and have ideas, but you have to get the TV executives on board with moving time slots and see if the move will make them more money.
Like,
And
with
they're dominating that time slot because what are they against? They're against Guy Fieri, 2008 Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives.
No, if they want to move it to another time slot, whatever's in that time slot.
But I'm saying, why would TNT want them to move? TNT doesn't want to move because they're dominating that time slot.
It's other sports too. Like they prioritize a lot of other sports over AEW.
Well, I think with a lot of ideas that get brought up in shows, it's always one of these things. Much easier said than done, obviously, right? That's the usual concept that with any show or any idea or anything that anyone kind of comes up. But it is true. Like there is a lot more involved with it, specifically from an executive point of view. And one thing about executives is that in the end, it's always about money, right? So.
But that's the funny thing is TNT, I think, made a mistake because and this isn't a shot, I'm a hockey fan, you know that, Kyle, but they banked on the NHL, bringing them millions and millions of viewers. And guess what? Dynamite outdraws the NHL every single week on Turner Network, right? They're on TBS, but hockey's on TNT. And they moved them to TBS because of that, because they had the hockey deal, and hockey's underperforming the deal. So they spent million, and if I'm Tony Khan, I'm leveraging the fuck out of that. Look how much you paid the NHL. Look at my ratings and my demo, right? Look what I'm doing. Yeah. Give me that NBC WWE contract. Obviously not in the billion level, but they're going to get a nice TV deal. And then I think that's when Turner, TBS, or TNT is going to say, okay, you guys are making us a lot of money, a lot of advertisement, and you're drawing really well in a younger demo. Why don't we move your Friday show? I think it's going to come to negotiations when they go to get the new TV deal.
Unfortunately, that's signed till 2024, so we got to wait a couple of years.
That's the problem right there. It's the contract in place, right? We don't necessarily know exactly the terms and conditions of the contract. We don't know if the actual network themselves can say, hey, listen, we're going to revisit this a lot earlier and start implementing these changes because we're seeing a big change and big money draw with your show. We want to implement that faster. It's just in the end, it's all terms and conditions with contracts, right? So if we got to wait till 2024, well, then...
The beep, I love it. Oh, the beep.
That popped the boys.
But then it pops the boys.
Speaking of like executives and shareholders and stuff, like we actually got some news. This is actually pretty cool. So
you got some nudes?
I got some nudes.
Got some arms?
Pop the boys.
I can't show them on screen. I'll send you guys after. But anyways, shareholders have approved a merger between Warner Media and Discovery, which is a massive merger. So I'll read what I have the tidbit here.
Did they sign with the World Wildlife Federation so AEW can change the name to WWF and cuck Vince one more time?
Dude, that would be hilarious. Oh my god.
So AEW is now officially under the umbrella of both Warner Media and Discovery following a merger between the two entertainment conglomerates. Discovery announced that their shareholders have approved the merger between the two companies, officially creating Warner Brothers Discovery, described as a premier world entertainment company. The deal between
can't say the word premier.
Yeah, I know. I said it online. Well, I didn't have my beat button ready, but the deal between Warner Media and Discovery.
Beep it real quick. Hey, heel, you cannot say the word. Beep it.
He doesn't want to. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, anyways, the deal between Warner Media and Discovery had been in talks for some time, with Discovery shareholders voting between. Or being one of the last steps in closing the deal, which is expected to be finalized in the second quarter of this year. Warner Brothers Discovery will be led by Discovery CEO Davis. I can't say that last name, so we're going to move on. The agreement brings...
His name's Davis.
Yeah.
He's like Prince. He only has one name.
So here comes...
Artist formerly known as Davis.
So here comes the important part. So here comes the important part. The agreement brings together assets from both Warner Media and Discovery, including AEW, which airs on Warner Media platforms TBS and TNT. There's likely no immediate effect on EW from the merger as of this moment, as the promotion's TV deal for both Dynamite and Rampage runs through the end of 2024. It should be noted that both Warner Media and Discovery have their own streaming service, HBO Max, and Discovery has Discovery Plus. It is unclear at this time if the two entities will remain separate or be merged together as well. Prior to Tony Khan's announcement that he purchased Ring of Honor, it was speculated that he was looking for a deal with HBO Max. Khan has since made it clear his purchase of Ring of Honor was partially in the hope of combining AEW and ROH's video libraries. Now, does this make more sense from the rumors that came out for Tony Khan buying HBO Max? And he's like, oh, if these two companies are going to merge together, I don't have to worry about that anymore because it looks like the both streaming services are going to combine together and it's going to be under the Turner umbrella, in that he doesn't have to worry about having to try to get HBO Max. It's just going to be a thing eventually.
I mean,
It's a good business move.
it's a business move, and then yeah, I mean, anything to put them on a streaming service, to have their own streaming service. And again, listen, that's props to WWE, right? And I know the Peacock network sucks, right? It's terrible, but WWE Network, once they fixed it, was great, and it was a great tool, and it was, you could utilize it, and it was amazing. And I feel like they dropped the ball somewhere where they didn't use that network for enough stuff. Like, I always thought the Slammy Award should be a real award show. You should have real performers, like performing music. You should have...
It's WWE.
Like,
they could get Radio City Music Hall if they wanted
to. It should be a fucking award show. And I feel like AEW, like, they would do stuff like that. Like, I just really do think that that would be great. And as far as a streaming service, if I could... Listen, I have no problem. The company's new. I know people are going to complain about buying a pay-per-view. The company's only 3 years old. I'm going to put out $50 every 4 months. I'm going to, because I love it. It entertains me for free. How many? 52 weeks a year, twice a week. I'm going to give them $50.
Can I also point out that their pay-per-views are worth $50?
Yes.
They're like WrestleMania built every single time.
Yeah. Like every single time. I have not seen a pay-per-view that I've been, oh man, really? That was kind of eh. Yeah. Every pay-per-view they've had has been, that was memorable. Like, that was 100% worth it.
Peacock didn't pop the boys.
That's true. We're going to get that logo done by the end of the weekend, guys. It'll be
We're going to get it done by tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be the top-selling shirt in, like, Rant with Ant and Elite POV history, I think. I think everyone's going to walk around with the Pop the Boys shirt.
Pop the boys.
Yeah.
Pop the Boys.
But I think it's smart. I think it's very smart, especially, like, for us Canadians here. You can attest to this. We get cucked a lot with wrestling.
Well, we love the word cuck here. We love it.
Cuckening is present.
We love it. Cuckamania 3.
For anyone that doesn't know the word, we get screwed a lot up here for anything
we do.
wrestling when it comes to streaming services or anything. Because, like, HBO Max is a big, massive platform, and it's, like, the top platform in the world right now, but it's only available in the United States.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And for us to be able to get the WWE Network, we have to go through cable providers up here.
Yeah, we couldn't just sign up.
No, you can't. Like, so we actually have to go through a third-party cable provider that we have, then they can associate our account with the WWE Network, and it just adds to a channel. It's annoying.
Yeah, it was very annoying. So, Discovery Plus is available up in Canada. So this merger actually is a benefit for Canadians, and I don't know if Discovery Plus is available to the European crowd.
Yeah, it is. It's for us too. Yeah, US.
So
I think we got it just for Guy Fieri, isn't
well, yeah, the Food Network's on there.
Yeah.
Everything Food Network's on there. Yeah.
Guy Fieri is like, I'll buy this. I'm like, fuck yeah, here you go.
I've actually been watching Iron Chef America lately, so like, I like cuisine.
The best is like that you try to cook like that, and then you're like, my mashed potatoes look like the runs. What the fuck happened?
Why are my mashed potatoes? Why are theirs white and mine are? Why are my mashed potatoes
Why is there
black?
corn? Add corn.
Anyways, I think it's a great,
boys.
smart merger, and eventually, if AEW wants to do their own streaming platform, that I think that's also a benefit because obviously Tony Khan, billionaire, he has the resources to go out and find people that can look at the WWE Network and say, and he can go, hey, can you create this for me? Like, he can go get the top computer design, whatever people that deal with this stuff, and he can pay them because he's got billions and billions of dollars to get himself a streaming service. But I think
Well,
It's a dot.
like look at it this way too. Is like he has now the ROH database.
Yeah.
That's a huge database right there. You know what I mean? Like that's like if he has that alongside AEW, like
You could put Ring of Honor live on the app. Like you
yeah,
could.
like there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can put Rampage live on that app if you want.
There you go.
Now Rampage is going to make a lot of money through the sponsorships, but I think that would be a cool thing to sell the app. Is like, okay, you want to see Tony Khan's version of Ring of Honor? Get the app, much like NXT was, right?
Yeah.
Where you could watch it every Wednesday, and people got the app for NXT. That's the only reason certain people got the app was so they could watch NXT. So I'm in for it. I'm in for it.
I've said this before. I will say this again. They dropped the ball on NXT. I was getting back into the WWE product because of NXT, and they dropped the ball tremendously on that.
It felt like a shock to my heart.
Oh
God.
God damn it.
They gave it to my wonky-eyed friend Sean.
Nate, do you subscribe to any like streaming service? Like, do you kind of like are you on board with this merger or what?
I am subscribed to a lot of the places. HBO. I do have a subscription to the Peacock. Mainly, I watch it for the 2.5 Men because it's awesome.
Gotcha.
But yeah, as far as this merger goes,
Is that AOP and Drake Maverick's tag team name?
You pop Nate. He's trying to explain.
I popped the boys.
You need to pop the boys. Let's hire Drake Maverick for the 15th time.
He's
hiring it. Yeah, no, I think it's a great move for them to get this merger because eventually, like they were saying, I think that eventually they could probably have that option to put it on their records onto the records. This is not a music thing. What am I thinking? Their video libraries onto those deals. They have an option there. Now, if they want to do like their own deal, they have that as an option, but now they have something kind of as a fallback if they wanted to do that. And I think that as far as the video libraries for AEW and Ring of Honor goes, I don't think they're going to nitpick as much as Peacock did for WWE because, you know, not much blackface or insinuated stuff. But yeah, no, I think it's a great move.
Awesome.
Overall, it opens the future up for potential content for us fans. It's very much there.
Sign us, Tony. Sign us, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
He
was right though.
Like
Dark Elevation.
Yeah.
Any vlogs, they can feature the vlogs on there, like people's vlogs. You know what I mean?
You can put BTE on that app
BTE,
instead of
yeah.
YouTube.
Yep.
How many people are buying it? How many people are paying? I am. I'll throw some money to watch it.
So the content's there. It's just a matter of time. So we'll have to see.
I love the content. Yeah, I mean, anything that gives us more AEW content, I'm good. I'm ready.
Thank you, Jackie, for gifting a sub to your mom.
Jackie, you gifted a sub to your mom and to your own channel. Put one in a donation bin.
That pop the girls.
Remember when I was running wild with a gun and dog back in the day, and I bought my own Degeneration X shirt just to put money in the game's wallet.
They really popped the boys.
It popped the boy. Taker popped in the back.
Yeah, pop my wallet too. Yeah.
Anyways,
I guarantee you, if they were to do like a deal where they just had like one of the shows be like a Danhausen vlog deal, I'm sure people would just subscribe to that automatically.
So this next
Kyle,
one,
after the news, there is something that I want to point out on Rampage that I think we skimmed over because it could be potentially like a dream feud of mine. So go to yours and own.
this one's going to be a little bit heated because we're going to rip on the one side of Twitter for wrestling Twitter. Lately, especially this week, wrestling Twitter has been on another level when it comes to a couple of people in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm talking about William Regal.
The really good-looking people too.
Yeah, William Regal, Tay Conti and Sammy Guevara, and Layla Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are y'all doing? So we'll start with Regal. Regal, we saw the intense promo on Wednesday. Apparently, the dirt sheets took that as like he's dying and gonna die and croak soon. It forced William Regal to actually come out on Twitter, and he shouldn't have to come out on Twitter and type this, which is bullshit. He had to come out and say this. He put already. Or I think he means all right, but already. That's why I stay out of the rumor mill and gossip. I've just found out that there's things being printed about my health. I am healthier than I've ever been in many years. I talked this week to someone about things that happened to me in 2018. So the dirt sheet people took that as it's happening right now. He had health issues before. he's fine now, but took it as like he's gonna die in like next week. So like, what the hell, man?
Well, it's clickbait. It's news stuff. They're trying to get a story out there before the story's actually out there, right? Because who's heard the interview besides Chris Jericho, who conducted the interview?
Right.
So they saw the bullet points and they said, oh my God, like his promo, they tried to connect the dots because everybody, like, what is the first comment you see on like YouTube or Twitter or Facebook? First, because everybody wants to be the first. It doesn't mean anything to be the first. It usually means you're wrong, right? But somebody wanted to break something and they tried and they failed miserably about someone's health.
Yeah, like to be honest with you, when I used to run mindofcarnage.com, which was a news wrestling site, dude, it was one of these things where you got clickbait out, and that was your highest moving article, because if you have a clickbait title with a clickbait image, everyone's clicking on there. They don't care the results of it; they want those clicks, right? And that was just one of the things I think a lot of these news agencies and a lot of these companies will just immediately speculate without putting any type of research in it. They hear one thing and they're like, "Oh, this must be the reasoning behind it. Let's run with this." Where it's right. News. You know what I mean? Like I don't personally trust a lot of news because that's their main focus is what can we do and how can we adjust this look and this title to have somebody say, "I need to click on this."
And that's adding fuel to, and it's giving that side of wrestling Twitter ammunition to start spreading more shit and being more dumb. And it's led now to like it, not exactly that story, but it's wrestling Twitter has gotten a lot of more ammunition this week, and then now people are criticizing Layla Hirsch for wearing the Russian colors, and she forcefully had to come out and say a statement about she shouldn't have to make this note and post it. This is what's sad. So she puts, I want to make something very clear. I stand with the Ukraine 100%, and my heart breaks for its citizens who are suffering at the hands of Vladimir Putin. I was born in Russia, but then I came to the U.S. at the age of 8 and became an American citizen. I cannot change my heritage any more than any other citizen can change theirs. The mere fact that I was born in Russia does not mean that I support the brutal dictator. Everyone who has even suggested a thing is simply wrong, plain and simple. People, newsflash, just because Vladimir Putin did not create the Russian flag and the Russian colors.
You should always be proud of where you're from, right? I'm sorry. You should always be proud of where you're from. And you're not proud because of the current power. Like, I don't like to get political, but did I love being an American? Do I love being American? Yes, I do. Does that mean I supported Trump or I support anything that he said? No. Doesn't mean I support everything Biden said. Just because someone's the face of your country doesn't mean that you support them or you support their ideals, right? Not my grandfather was German, World War II, and he fought against the Nazis, but he was always proud to be German. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. Like, just because you're from somewhere doesn't mean you share the ideas of their leader.
Like for me, I'm Romanian. I was born in Romania, and Romania has a lot of, they have questionable past. They've had communist past as well. You know what I mean? So I don't look at that as being like I'm proud to be Romanian because I'm proud of the country in general. But it doesn't mean that what happened in the past should resemble like how I also feel about I should denounce Romania because of what happened then. No, you know what I mean? Like I'm proud of it, but it's one of these things where online Twitter is one of the worst places I find, and it's one of these things where wrestling fans just they go a certain direction and they don't look or actually make their own research or open their eyes. They just see one street and they just run down that street.
Yeah, well, it's the faceless abyss of Twitter.
Yeah,
it's the people with no faces. They either have an anime character, Cody Rhodes' face, Sasha Banks' hands, or Roman Reigns' hair on their profile picture, and then that's the people that are talking, right? It's not people that actually have their face on Twitter or a real person, because normal people who like to show who they really are can relate to what is happening and understand and kind of divide the two of like, hey, okay, she's Russian. Alexander Ovechkin's the best hockey player in the world. He's Russian. He denounces Putin after he supported him, 10 years ago? He said, I was wrong. Sorry. Didn't know this was going to happen. Things change, but he's still Russian. You can't take that away from him. You can't take, my grandfather was from Italy. Italy did some stupid shit. We're Italian. That's what we are. You can't take that out of someone. You know, I just don't. Wrestling Twitter is weird, and the Sammy Ty thing is weird because it's a bunch of virgins who've never had sex. They're like, oh, we get it, you have sex. Well, guess what? Yeah, they have sex. They're hot, and I bet you it's very athletic. I bet you hits a 450.
There's a great button called the mute button if you don't want to see their tweets. Just saying, great. It's free to use. It's free to click. You don't want to see their tweets? Click the mute button.
Can I just say something to wrestling fans out there? People's personal lives out of wrestling is none of your business.
Exactly.
Plain
They're
and
real
simple.
people as well, by the way.
Like,
wrestlers, they're real people.
But this is what they did.
They ain't robots.
This is why we love Ty Conti, and this is why we love Sammy Guevara, because this is what happened. People wanted to get in their business.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, okay, working or shooting, we're going to let them know everything that we do. Like, oh, you look better naked. And everyone's like, ew, stop. Well, you want it to be in our business so bad. Don't you want to know everything?
Yeah.
Don't you want to know everything? Like, if you want to be in our business, you're going to be in our business. We're going to share our business. And
if those people don't like it, they can mute it. They don't have to go and comment on it.
It's a brilliant clapback. Like, it's brilliant.
Yeah, they did it well. They
For
did
the
it
term
well.
I
clapback.
loved when Tay Conti tweeted at Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes, "Thank you for giving me all your haters." Yep. And both of them tweeted back on how to handle it. Even Brandy's response was like on point. Oh man, that was beautiful. I love when they clap back at wrestling Twitter, but they clap back enough that they don't answer back.
We gonna clap back.
Like they tuck their tails in and run.
Yeah, like we're not listen. When it comes to Twitter, there are a lot of good, rational mindsets on there. There's a reason why wrestling has so much of a variety. You're allowed to have a difference of opinion. I am not going to go to someone right now and say, if you like this person or you like WWE, you're an idiot, because it's in all reality, that's not my business. If they like a product that is helping them get through a really stressful world that we live in right now, I am no one to judge for that. You know what I mean? But it just kills me to see so many people online attack others for liking something that they don't like, and it feels ridiculous somebody else would. To me, it really drives this whole concept of people have, like I said, that one-way road. They just want to run that one way, and if anyone else tries to say, hey, you should go this way, it's easier. They're like, screw you, I'm going this way. It just drives me insane. Like, you have a right to enjoy what you enjoy. You have a right to follow someone's story or anything, but people just try to get themselves involved way too much, and when they get involved way too much and people fight back, like Sammy and Ty, well, enjoy. This is what you wanted.
So wrestling.
It's kind of one of those things.
Go ahead.
It's kind of one of those things where we've been using the phrase of "pop the boys." I feel like it's one of those things where the new T-shirt's going to be like, "You pop the wrestlers, you're going to get popped back."
Yes, exactly.
They pop
Because they will never say this to their faces, so they know they're going to get popped in the face for saying that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Nate, you nailed it right in the head with that one, man. They will
Also,
never.
Regal's going
ever-
to live forever. Let's face it.
Yep. Regal's gonna live till he's 105, or even past that.
So the last thing, I don't know if you have any more news, Kyle.
No, that was it.
The last thing I want to talk about. So during the promo last night, right? It was a lot about you thought you got the poison out of you from Malachi Black, and this is a potential feud. I think everybody's been waiting to see, and nobody's really thought of it. So this is a direct quote. The next rites will be written into guilt of a man who thought he removed all the poison from his heart. People think Malachi is calling out CM Punk.
Oh,
Malachi versus Punk. Punk with a lot of poison, a lot of hatred in his heart. He thought he cleansed himself when he came back. And we saw that he didn't cleanse himself because he turned into that monster in that dog collar match. Now, if Malachi is speaking in riddles and this leads to that kind of him versus Punk match, oh my
and if along the way he faces Buddy Murphy, give it to me all day.
Oh my God, give me Punk versus Buddy. Give me Punk versus Brody. Give me Punk. Like, let him go through the stages of the House of Black, right? Like, I know Kyle said, like, you would love to see Punk be a leader of a House of Black or, like, one of the members, which would be cool. But, man, I would rather see Malachi and Punk tear it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because it's a perfect, again, we talked about this on Wednesday night. You took Danielson and Moxley and you put them in a tag team. So it creates some space up at the top of going for the world title because you have such a strong roster. So now these two are going to do this, and the storyline itself takes them out of the main title picture, which is great. You take Punk and you put him in Malachi, this dark kind of feud. It takes Punk out of that, and it lets people like Adam Cole or Miro when he gets back, or you know what I mean, go for that championship. So you don't waste Punk's match where he loses, and everyone's like, "What? Why did he lose the title match?" Right? He doesn't have to fight for the title until he wins it. MGF could climb and get that title, and then you could have someone win it. So I love what they're doing, where they're taking these important pieces and kind of shifting them around. So there is that emptiness up top where they can move people up to make Hangman's title reign longer and more spectacular. Because I can't imagine Hangman versus Miro. That would be mind blowing. I think it would be amazing, right?
Yeah. And then
A Hangman versus MJF will happen. I think that's what they're doing, and I love that because it doesn't feel crowded up top because they're doing this with like, okay, like, so Moxley and Danielson, I said I want competitions. They gave them the best friends next week. There's the start, right? There's the start of them now climbing up the tag team division. So I love it. I love what they're doing. But if Punk and Malachi meet up, my head's gonna explode.
I mean, Punk's done with this. He said it. Like, he said going into the end of this MJF feud, he's done with this return tour CM Punk, like coming back and, you know, like, hey, like, I'm back. You know, he's done with that CM Punk. He's now back in his groove. He's shaking out all the rust. He's back where he left off 7 years ago, and he's ready to do he's ready to go in deep and be a full-time wrestler with actual storyline. So that storyline following this MJF one, I think makes sense, and we get, you know, a other side of CM Punk that what we've seen. Like, it was right before, it was kind of tying into the MJF feud even beforehand. It was the return of Punk kind of thing, like going out and just facing people, facing young talent, and, you know, seeing if he still got it. Now we know he still got it. he's like never looked better, man. He looks incredible now. Yeah, it's clobbering time for Punk now. Now he's back into that full-time groove. I think that's a perfect next feud for him. And I think a lot of people, that would get over, and that would set up a very, very high-profile double or nothing match.
Can I just say something real quick? Because Carrie just tweeted me something she sent to Phil before, with the timestamp before All Out, or not All Out.
Okay.
No, not All Out. What was Revolution?
I was gonna say, damn.
Before WrestleMania, Bash at the Barbie Beach House. Also, she said, I want Punk to feud with the House of Black next after MJF. Have House of Black attack him after the MJF match, which didn't happen, but so he can receive the dark side, and that's how we get heel Punk back. So this is going to lead to heel Punk, and she can get Buddy versus Punk. So she called this 2 weeks ago.
Nice. I mean, I have no problem of
Stop working for AEW, Kerry.
Like, I have no problem seeing House of Black taking on potentially sometime down the line House of Punk. Like, you never know. But, like, I think both of them would work very well.
We can bring in a Serena Deep, and we can put Gallows in from Impact. We could shave their heads. We could have the Straight Edge Society 2.1 and a half.
It'll work. You never know.
Nate, what do you
think?
1.5
is when they bring in Swoggle.
But Nate, what do you think about a feud like that?
Oh gosh, take my money. That's all I need to say for that.
Hey, literally, take all our money, because we know they know how to print money, and they're doing it wonderfully. AEW, they had 110,000 pay-per-view buys for AEW Revolution, which is fantastic. I think it's their second or third best-selling pay-per-view, and literally I think it's their top 3 or top 2 best-selling pay-per-views that they've done so far in their company history have main evented with Hangman Page, the world champion. So that does say a lot.
Can I also
people love Hangman.
Can I also just add something money that they're doing on YouTube starting tomorrow? They're gonna have a new series with RJ City.
Oh yeah, I
doing
saw
interviews
that. Yeah,
with Downhausen. Oh my god, I have to watch that. Video.
Another thing they can add to the network if they did a network, right?
Oh my god,
people would pay for that.
RJ City is phenomenal. Like, that guy is just, he's money.
Exactly.
He's great. He's great in person, and he's great character. He literally plays his character in person. That's amazing.
Anyways,
Well, it sounds
guys.
better than the Carmella and Graves YouTube deal that they tried to do.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've heard
God.
that tanked the first episode. So
I'll tell you what happens when I see Carmella. She pops the boys.
something else. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up today. Again, guys, Nate the Great, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Because you're in the Best in the World tour, so you have more dates to come on, man. You can come on anytime. Just reach out to us, and then you're free to come on anytime, man. So thank you, and we want to thank you again, not only for coming on today's show, Nate, but for being one of our Best in the World tier Patreon subscribers, man. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for carrying on the legacy that we built way before Rant with Ant was a thing with the Wrestle Attic, as Wrestle Attic Radio is still going strong. And tell them about your new show that you're bringing over to Wrestle Addict Radio starting after WrestleMania. It's stupendous.
Yep,
Tuesday.
that was something that I reached out to them. They've agreed to. So this is going to be the first time that we've actually talked about it. Is that we mentioned it the following Tuesday after WrestleMania is going to be a new show called Brace for Impact. That's going to be featuring myself going through a couple of the Impact shows. I'm going to be doing that every other week. But as kind of an added bonus, the following week, the ones that kind of fill in the gaps between them, I'm actually going to try and rotate, having special guests on the show where we talk about rivalries in professional wrestling.
Hi, Deanna.
So I've already said that if we talk about Brett and Owen, it's already going to be Ant. So you can definitely guarantee that's going to be.
You can bet your ass I'll be there.
We did Earn Bar and a League Bar and popping the boys.
You're talking about the sharpshooter. I remember the one time.
That's awesome.
It was in Montreal. I wasn't done, Kyle. I was not finished.
Okay.
Cut his mic.
Sean put Brett into his own move, the sharpshooter, and I rang down to the ring and I said, "Ring the goddamn bell," and he did. And I was the biggest star that night because we screwed Bret Hart.
Okay. Well, thank you, Triple H. Nate, why don't you let us know where anyone can find you in Wrestle Addict Radio?
Oh man, they're just gonna they're gonna find me 6 feet under because I'm just entertained by this show more than WWE have done in the last few months.
I'm a microphone entertainer.
We ain't podcasters.
Podcast content creator. No, what sounds better? Microphone entertainer.
Microphone.
Merch coming soon.
Merch coming soon.
So they could find me on social media, on Instagram as well as on Twitter at RealFNGame. So they can find me on there. I also do another podcast called the Game Changer Podcast, which I'm
Did you say game? Did you say
Stop cutting him off.
game? He said my name.
Brother.
You summoned the game.
Just oh my gosh. So the Game Changer Podcast is going to be making its comeback there, where I talk about pop culture. I'm going to be talking about some wrestling deals as well. One thing I can preview for you guys is that I'm actually working on this on a heel turn for one Nick Dinsmore, aka Eugene, who actually will be retiring by the end of this year. So something to kind of talk about in the future. But yeah, no, there's a lot of great stuff going on for pop culture. So definitely count on that for movies. But definitely thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been
Thank
an
you,
honor.
Nate. You've been amazing, dude.
Yeah, man.
Hey, no, thank you. I will say this right now, that every time that I've wanted to some kind of like graphic or some kind of design, Ant has always been my dude that I always go to. And he's like, well, I could do it for this price. Like, nope. Always Ant. I trust him most because A, he knows what I like, and B, I don't think there's been a single time where I've said, this thing's shit. It's always been like, knocked it out of the park. Keep it.
I always pop the boys with my logo creation.
I knew that was going to happen.
And before
I
we
was
get,
black and gold and they changed it to a fucking Skittles rainbow. Can you believe that?
so before we let Triple H sign us off here, we're gonna actually just do a little bit of housekeeping, guys. Guys, make sure Nate is part of the Best in the World Tour. You guys can be part of our Patreon page as well. That is patreon.com/ElitePOV. There are many tiers for you guys to sign up there. $1, $5, $10, and $20 tiers with a lot of content. With actually new content that was just uploaded for everyone for free right now as a little bit of a preview to sign up for our Patreon. That is the 10-second
Count.
I always want to say 5 second.
You're on the show.
I was on the
You're
show.
on the show.
Yeah, but you know why I get this confused
Because you
because
want
of
to
your
call it
last
the
show.
5-second rule,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
5-second rule doesn't make sense in wrestling, but 10-second count
So
does.
the 10-second count is free for everyone, episode 1, and then all the other episodes will be under the paid tier, so you guys can go check it out now. We've had a lot of good feedback about it, so go check it out and subscribe to the Patreon channel.
Pops the boys.
It pops the boys. We also have a merch website that we're going to be updating very soon. We have two
Like
designs on there tonight. We have two designs on there right now. ElitePOVmerch.com. We have the "You Don't Need a Coffee Cup to Have a Coffee," and the "Baby Faces Have No Friends," which is
As well as the
turning out to be
logo tees,
extreme-
guys.
Yeah, it's turning out to be extremely true. The second design there, but you guys
The
can go check
5-second
that out.
count may not work, but the 3-second count can.
I last
Nobody
longer
said
than 3 seconds. Have you ever played the game?
3 seconds. I popped the boys at the 4th second.
Anyways, man, let them know what we got going on eFed wise and where everyone can follow you.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Alliance Wrestling Fed. We are doing more eFed stuff today. Kyle has a lot of catching up to do. I'm finishing off everything. I have one character to make because Phil and I have been up to like wee hours night. Phil's been up to like 4 a.m. every night. So we've been working hard. Kyle's been hardly working now. WWE 2K literally has
Sorry,
cucked
I have a
Kyle
life.
every step
And
of
it
the
cucked
way.
me last night.
Every step of the way. So Kyle will be on creating. I will be there as well creating today. Come join us. It'll probably be a couple hours from now, Kyle.
I'll let you guys know. I'll tweet out when I'm going to be live because I have to go do some real life stuff after this podcast for a bit. So and I'll
He's got to give it a wank.
Yeah.
He's not over that crash either.
Yeah.
No, I'm still pissed.
Next week, I'm actually if you're a Philly sports fan, I'm doing a Philly sports show on Tuesday nights. It's called Whiz Wit. We're gonna be talking about obviously Ben Simmons' big return to Philadelphia where they spanked our ass. Baseball being back. We're gonna be talking about Eagles football. We'll be talking about everything. If you're a sports fan, definitely check it out. It's coming back Tuesday night. The show will be up on Wednesday. Then obviously twitch.tv/defy_DEFY_. You can watch me play Gears of War next week. I'll be back on the Gears grind. Kyle will still be back yelling about Gears.
Yeah.
Come on, that's bullshit.
Yeah, my beard is soon going to be gray like his. Like
Yes,
a little bit there. I'm trying.
When you've been through some shit, like the curtain call, your beard
All right.
turns this color.
Oh, shut up.
And lastly, but not least, our new member to Elite POV, that is Costin, aka Heal Please Heal. Let them know anything you got coming up, and let them know where they can follow you and watch you on Twitch.
So you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/HealPleaseHeal. You can find me on Twitter as well at HealPleasePLS and also at FWF Strong. FWF is RE Federation, our championship right there. It's RE Federation that we've been running for about a year and a half. We are on season 4. We're in the design stages right now as well. We are 40 talents into season 4. So we are actually getting our arenas done up, our championships done up, our talents done up right now. We're getting there. We're all progressing. I'm looking to start sometime in April for official season 4 and everything, but I'm super excited for that. And the game itself has been cucking me as well, Kyle. You're not the only one, my friend. But yeah, not as bad as you, by the way. But yeah, so that's where you can find me. Heal Please Heal. I primarily do a lot of Sea of Thieves. I do like to do some little games here and there, kind of variety and everything. But yeah.
I'm telling you guys right now, if you haven't watched his Sea of Thieves streams,
oh my God.
they're honestly the best on Twitch that I've ever seen. They're fantastic, especially when he has the stream loots turned on. The funniest stuff ever, guys. So go please check out Heal on Twitch. Some of the greatest stuff I've seen on there.
If Heal and I are ever on to see together too, it does feel like stream loots are turned on, and they're not. We're like blowing up the boat. We're blowing up kegs in front of each other. So yeah, I want to get
Next
back
time I'll
on
have
there.
you on with stream loots on, and you'll see what happens.
Oh no, I remember they kept making me jump off the boat the one time.
Oh, so it's horrible.
Like,
That
jump off
wasn't
the
even
boat.
stream loots. That's actually just a normal chat award thing people can
Oh, yeah.
do.
Jump off the boat. Okay.
Oh god, dude.
So anyways, guys, thank you guys all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It'll be live, or it'll be up on audio very soon later today. So guys, until next time, remember, you don't need a coffee cup to have a coffee.
And you don't need to be in a game to pop the boys.